Okay, we made it. Day 30. Day 30 in the books, officially 165.8 today. I took my blood yesterday and results came back overnight. So I got to take a look, and my blood levels are telling me that calcium is still good, magnesium is still good, potassium is still good in terms of electrolytes. Sodium is relatively low, and chloride is extremely low, which is just telling me that for the next 10 days, probably have to up my sodium intake. Like a lot of salt in my body, which is something you would never expect to be telling someone in this day and age. Usually people have too much salt in their bloodstream. So definitely got to get some more salt, specifically sodium, specifically chloride into my blood. Levels are looking pretty okay. White blood cell count is the only alarming one. That one is relatively low. So you just got to make sure that I'm just eating lots of fish and meat and poultry when I get back to. Another thing that's interesting is that my cholesterol, which has been historically very, very high, is now stabilized. It is now right at the brink of being a little bit too much. So cholesterol levels, unfortunately, the HDL cholesterol, which I believe is a good cholesterol, is getting on the lower side. But overall cholesterol levels are down. Testosterone, got to check his testosterone. I think I don't know the exact units, but whatever it was from before, I think there's a range of about 250 to about 870. Before I was hitting about 620, now I'm at about 550, 560. So somewhere in that middle range right there. And that's what the levels are looking like. So that's pretty encouraging. That's telling me that I don't have to worry about heart failure, or at least don't have to worry way too much about heart failure happening when I start refeeding again. So that should all be well and good. Just making sure that I get my water intake and make sure I get my salt intake up a lot in these next 10 days. Okay, on that note, I've been thinking a little bit more, during this journey, just receiving some of the messages that are coming in. Another big aspect, I talked a lot about the importance for me in particular to be doing something that I create something that's creative for other people to go and enjoy. That's a really, really important part of my identity and a part of my future reality. Something else, because I kind of keep going back and forth between a couple different, I guess, niches, some subjects of study, because I want to respect my 30s. I'm going to be 30 in about 3 months. And I really want to respect my 30s by doing the things that only I can go do, that when this field comes up, people think about my name, to be able to climb whatever hierarchy I need to go climb in order to make sure that I'm in the place I need to be and I could stick with it. I'm not jumping around from one thing to the next. And I think I've ultimately come down to that, I've been training, I've been a professional coach for the past 4 years now. In many cases in person and in many cases digitally for a lot of people. I know how that company is built from the ground up. I know a couple of different instances of those companies being built from the ground up. That's probably going to be my bread and butter. That's something I could get on a call and I could literally talk for 24 hours. I've done a 24-hour coaching call before, so I know exactly what to do and what to go talk about and how to go help people. And furthermore, I have a penchant for figuring out better ways of helping people do those things. But still, there's little inklings of doubt. And I guess the message that came in today was whatever it is I'm doing, I need to, I need to be, there needs to be some degree of love and adventure. Love is really important. That's the connection. That's the bonding component. There needs to be that bond. Otherwise, why the hell are we doing anything? That's the point of life. People talk about it and they just kind of cast it to the side. Oh yeah, love is the meaning of life. It's like, no, it's more than that. Love is what connects things. And if you look around, you can see a whole world that is connected together by something. And you could call that gravity. You can call that rubber cement. You could call it whatever you want. But at the end of the day, at least when it comes to humans, that ultimate connector, that social bonder, is going to be love. So that's one important component. The other important component is going to be adventure. Because I know there's going to be some point in everyone's career, in everyone's profession, where you're doing something and all of a sudden you're doing it so much, it just sucks the frustration of the repetition, just sucks the joy out of the experience itself. And that sucks because you take something you love more than anything else and then you start hating it. It's a tragedy. So what do we do about that? Do we just jump to something else that we could start loving again? No, what it means is that you have to stick with it until, again, you get past that point of maximal cravings, and then now it's a part of you. You gotta give yourself sufficient time for it to, to inject to inject it into your identity. What I think is happening is your body is refusing an external stimulus the same way that your white blood cells would refuse an external bacteria. So it's going to fight it, and it's going to fight it and fight it and fight it until one of the two things wins. Either you win and then you essentially cast it off and you start doing something else, or it wins and it just fuses with you and becomes a part of your identity. So I think someone is supposed to push themselves in their passion, in their craft, in their chosen field of specialization, of expertise. They're supposed to push into it until it is able to penetrate into every morsel of their being, and that just becomes a part of them. But there does need to be that pain period where you actually temporarily hate the craft for a short period of time. So just be wary of that, whatever you choose to do. Stick with it for another, couple of months before you make a decision to do something different. So, but I think this is going to be the thing. So love and adventure are definitely the two big important components I need to have a part of this. Another thing, which I was reading in a book maybe a couple of months ago that was given to me by one of our clients, it was a subject of these intellectuals talking about what makes someone curious and what makes someone a genius at something. And someone was very poetic about it. They described it as they're being presented with a problem that troubles them so much that it occupies every morsel of their being. And for me, what I think that is why is it that we want to do things, but we can't go and do those things? And why is that still a struggle? And that's a very, very deep question. I think that's something that I can get to the bottom to because of my penchant for answering those types of questions and being able to draw from a variety of different disciplines and be able to apply it in real time and utilize real test subjects out in the real world, which is going to be, any sort of future clients. So that's it. That's something that troubles me deeply. Something that troubled me a couple of years ago is why can't a confident man who has plenty part of his life going for him, why can't he just go approach a pretty woman and just start up a conversation? Why is it so difficult? And I have thousands of notes just trying to get to the bottom of why that's the case. And I'm pretty confident I have some degree of why that is the case on a person-to-person basis. It's really, really hard to teach that because it does require some flexibility to see different identities and personalities, recontextualize them in different situations based on what that person has going on. But I think there's an even deeper problem than why can't a confident guy go talk to, who's built up plenty of things for himself, go talk to a pretty girl and start a conversation. I think a deeper question is why can't we get ourselves to do the things that we say that we want to do? And I think if we could go answer that question, then I think that there is that's a multi-million-dollar problem that we can go solve. And if more people can go do the things by which they were put on this planet to go do, with their unique combination of genetics and family background and experience, I do think that people can get to the bottom of why they're put here on this planet. If we could find that person and then put them in the right place, then I strongly believe the world will be a whole lot better of a place. So that's the issue. I think that's the problem I'm going to be tackling for the next couple of decades, if not more, unless I get distracted by the culinary arts or something that someone values more out of my time. You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked what the market asks for. But for me in particular, I think that's a problem that I really, really would like to get down to the bottom of on a case-by-case basis is why is it that we can't get ourselves to do the things that we set out to go do? Why is that the case? And I do have a citation in a research paper. It's supposed to be published in, I believe, Neuroscience or the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience or Psychology. I forget which journal it was. But it's currently in peer review. But I did spend some time studying why is it the case that people make a decision reversal in situations of intertemporal persistence tasks. So when they decide to wait for something, and wait, and then they make a spontaneous decision to stop waiting and to go do something else. That's very, very interesting, and that's a very deep problem. We just got like one very small component of it. But I think that there's a lot of people that want to do some pretty substantial things with their lives, but for one reason or another, they're not doing it. And that's a really, really big issue for me that I care very deeply about. And I wonder how much better lives people can live if they were able to go solve that one problem and to do it with relative ease. It's going to be difficult because if it wasn't difficult, they would have done it already. Perhaps that is not even the case. Maybe they just don't know the answer. But if we could go find the answer and go resolve that difficulty, I only wonder what type of world we would go and live in. So that's the thought I'll leave with you tonight. Um, Definitely, this is a fantastic practice for uncovering, who you are and getting to the source of what it is you're on this planet for and what you're going to do with your life. And I'm certainly learning answers every single day. So that's my intention, and I'll come back tomorrow with more to share. This is Tom on day 30.